Happy New Year, everybody. It is 2024. We are starting season 8 of the Tan and J-Man Show. This is episode number 372, going on our 8th year of doing this. It is 2024, and couldn't feel any better than I do right now. How are you feeling?
Feeling good, Jay, man. It's hard to believe it's 2024. I mean, I know in life we get older, years progress, but it's just, I was sitting there thinking today, I was like, I remember when it was 2007, 2008, and now it's 2024. So
yeah, it's funny you say that because for some reason my algorithm on YouTube 2 days ago, I was just cruising through there and it was like Tennessee Titans versus the Carolina Panthers, September 14th, 2007. So I'm going to click on that. And, it doesn't seem that long ago, but the game looked like it was from 1975. It was absurd.
yeah.
How much different things looked. I mean, you even look back at like college basketball back like 2012, their shorts were about down around their ankles. And now you just don't see that anymore. And we thought that was normal back in the day, but things done changed, but the Tan and J-Man Show has not, for the most part.
Still rolling on. Kicking off episode 372, episode 1 of season 8 tonight. And we got our bold predictions, our first part 1 of 3. So our first 8 of the 24 bold predictions for 2024 tonight. So look forward to that. We're talking college hoops, NFL, maybe a little college football since bowl games have been played, and one of the 2 college football playoff games is going on as we speak. But I do have Birdie or Bogey ready to kick off the year for you. You smoked me last year.
It's big that you're starting this because it feels like whoever starts the worst usually ends up losing. So might as well mark me down for a bogey.
We'll see. It's a multi-answer question. So there are 5 head coaches in NCAA football history who have coached a team to 14 or more bowl wins. Can you name them?
All right.
Give you I'm gonna make it tough. 4 for a par, 5 for birdie.
Does this include playoff games as bowl games?
I would assume so. Yes.
All right. Cool. Birdie or Bogey is brought to you by Arlington Public House. Arlington Public House's upscale cuisine and cocktails. Casual atmosphere located 703 Main Street in Rochester, Indiana. They are closed for the holidays. They will open back up, looks like on Sunday. January 7th. Is that Sunday? I think that's Sunday.
It'll be next Monday, though. They're closed on Sundays. So I know their post said that, but it'll be next Monday, January 8th.
When you can get $2 whole smoked wings and $1 off domestic brewskis.
Yeah, and if you're there, tell them to put the Tan and J-Man Show right up on the television. So
yeah, 6:30 Eastern time.
6:30 Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 Central Time. I won't go through
Mountain, 3:30 Pacific. Go on and on.
1:30 Hawaiian time. So
yeah.
Just man, the Hawaiians can watch us on their lunch break, pretty much at 1:30.
They really can. They really can. I've always thought, living out in the West Coast would be terrible for watching sports, but everyone that lives out in the West Coast says it's awesome because the Sunday night games are ending at like 7:30, 8:30.
Right. It just takes time to get used to. I mean, I've watched a decent amount of sports games when I've been out in Denver, Colorado on Mountain Time, and it's different, but if you get used to it, then you like it. So
USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington fans next year watching those noon kickoffs have to be 9 a.m. up bright and early. Not that UCLA really has football fans, but
right.
Or USC for that matter, it seems like. But
well, USC, some Pac-12 fans got used to it this year because Colorado was the Fox Big noon game all the time. Yeah. So some of them got used to it.
And Dion says he wants more privacy this year. So we'll see how that goes for him.
He blames it on himself.
He does. He's got no one to blame with himself.
Come on. Well, what do you want to do first? Do you want to do some on this day? Do you want to jump right into our eight of our 24 bowl predictions for 2024? What do you want to do?
I say we start with the bowl predictions.
All right.
I'll go first. Rory McIlroy will win the Masters. I think that was my first one last year. I'm just going to keep it on there until it actually happens, and we'll see if it ever happens.
He's going to be one of the favorites. He is every year. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world. It's just crazy. We went a decade without him winning a major, not even the Masters, which he's never won, but a major.
Yeah.
So, no, I like it. I would have been disappointed if you didn't put that on your list, just with your little gimmick and your stick. So maybe you need to get the shirt off TannandJManShowStore.com. Maybe that's what it's going to take.
Yeah.
Well, my first bold prediction, I don't know how bold it is, but I've tried to get some of these right. So, there's some strategy there to me. My first bold prediction, Purdue basketball repeats as Big Ten champions.
That's probably going to happen now after the latest news.
Which we will
out of Big Ten land.
Talk about later on in the pod. So
yeah. The Chicago Cubs will finish dead last in the NL Central.
What?
That's my bold prediction. Maybe it's just because I'm angry about the way the offseason's going.
They could be worse than the Pirates.
If they don't do anything the rest of the offseason, which they will do something, you would think. And I still think Cody Bellinger probably comes back and they'll make some other moves and they'll probably be halfway decent. But I'm grumpy right now, so I put them finish last.
That's fair. I mean, new manager and everybody's fired up.
Well, do something, Jed.
My number 2 is Purdue makes its first Final Four since 1980. I put it on there last year. As long as they're good, it might turn into my version of Rory McIlroy wins the Masters. I'm just going to keep doing it till it happens, as long as they're good. I think, Matt Painter's had some pretty good shots at it over the years, but I think this is, as long as everybody stays healthy, this is his best shot.
Especially what happened last year. I mean, Virginia, the year after they went and won a national title. So Purdue's very well set up for that. And I'm actually going to piggyback on that and say Big Ten finally wins a national championship for the first time since Michigan State did it. So,
all right. Well, I would like that one.
And I'm picking Wisconsin.
Oh, that would just be awful. Well, hey, I think they're the third best team in the conference. So
yeah, I'm just kidding about that.
So was that your number 3 then?
That is my number 3.
My number 3, Purdue one. My last Purdue one. I swear these aren't all Purdue, but it's my last Purdue one. Purdue football will make a bowl game. I know that's not huge for a lot of schools anymore. I mean, it takes 6, heck, sometimes 5, some cases of Minnesota. But with their tough schedule next year, an improvement to 6 wins from 4, I think would be a step in the right direction. So
for sure.
Yep.
For sure. The Buffalo Bills go on a heater and win the Super Bowl.
I could see that. They got some momentum going right now.
So. And honestly, depending on how this weekend turns out, if the Jags win and the Steelers win, the Bills will have to win in Miami to even make the playoffs.
Right.
So,
right.
But yeah.
My number 4, Deion Sanders leaves Colorado after the 2024 season.
Think he goes NFL, somewhere else, just quits.
I think he goes to coach somewhere else. I don't know if it would be NFL or within college football. I just think, you look at what they're doing. They're hitting the transfer portal extremely hard. They only have 6 commits out of high school. I think he's loading it up this year for Shadir and Travis Hunter and his other son. Oh, that name's escaping me. But he's good. He's leaving nothing for the years after that. I mean, I know you can go in portal, but just doing portal only without still recruiting high school is going to bite your program. There's going to be no development. So.
And knowing the NCAA, they will swing it back the exact opposite direction, and he'll absolutely be screwed if they were to do that. So
I just think, I know they'll throw as much money possible as they can at him to stay, but I just think, especially if they don't have a great season next year and he has an opportunity to go somewhere, he'll take it.
Big Ten basketball will only have 5 NCAA tourney teams this year. I think they're probably going to end up with 8, but that's a bold prediction because I think there's probably only 5 tourney worthy teams. Purdue, I still think Illinois is probably the second best team in the conference, even after the Shannon news. Wisconsin, I think Ohio State probably gets in, although they did not look very good against West Virginia over the weekend. And then I'm thinking probably Michigan State. They'll keep their string together, but I think Rutgers is trash. Iowa's bad. Northwestern, I just can't give it to them, although they'll probably be in there. And then Nebraska, I mean, they've looked pretty good, but who have they beaten? They did win in Kansas State, who's not very good, but it's a road win. Minnesota's Minnesota. Maryland's looked bad so far. Michigan, terrible loss to McNeese State this past week. So it's pretty down year. And if Purdue doesn't win the conference, it'll be a disaster of a season, in my opinion. For them.
The way I'm looking at it is Purdue won the conference last year by 3 games. And I think
that's pretty wide.
Purdue's better this year, and I think the conference is worse than it was last year.
Yep.
So.
Yeah.
My number 5, it's a guy that's currently on the sidelines in the Rose Bowl right now. I think Jim Harbaugh's an NFL coach in 2024.
I also put that on my bold predictions, so we'll either be celebrating together or go down together. So.
I think I put it on mine last year, and it wasn't right. So, but I just think I know he's done great things at Michigan, but I think there's just a lot of baggage there, and because if he loses to Alabama, which last time I checked, Michigan was up 14-7, but if he loses to Alabama, then it's like that's 3 years in a row he hasn't won a single playoff game, let alone got to the championship, then lost. So
yeah, and Black Monday's coming too. So
yep.
Yeah. Jim Harbaugh going to the NFL. Piggyback on that, the momentum feels like he's leaning towards the NFL. He hired that guy that is known to putting coaches in the NFL,
right?
But it'll be interesting to see what jobs open because I mean a lot of people thought he's going to be a Chicago Bears coach. Well, Eberflus is back.
Yep.
Chargers make sense,
right?
Other than that, what's open? I think Atlanta opens.
I think New England opens. I think
New England
Belichick's done.
Yeah.
I think Washington opens
for sure. Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not seeing a whole lot. Maybe Pete Carroll retires.
That's a possibility. I don't think the Jets open up. Could, but I think Saleh's a pretty good coach. Maybe Gannon's a one and done in Arizona, but I have a hard time believing
he's done a pretty good job. Look at him yesterday.
He's done a really good job considering what's gone on.
McCarthy's safe.
I think Vrabel's built up enough goodwill over the past couple of years that if they fire him after one bad year where his quarterback situation is terrible, then they need new ownership there, in my opinion.
True.
So,
true.
Because I think Vrabel's a really good head coach.
Yeah, the only way maybe Dallas opens up if they're one and done in the playoffs.
Potentially
maybe
could happen.
Yeah.
But yeah.
My next one: the Bears keep Justin Fields and trade the number 1 overall pick.
You don't think they'd go Harrison Jr. there, huh?
They could.
They should, in my opinion.
But I think they can draft a bunch, and I don't know. I mean, Marvin's going to be great, but the haul they could get there for that number 1 overall pick could set them up pretty brightly. So.
They could trade down to 3, 4, 5, and potentially still pick up Harrison Jr. anyway, and get a massive haul for next year. Maybe get another first-round pick for next year. So. I made this list before Sunday's games, but Christian McCaffrey wins the MVP. Not happening. That's going to be Lamar. But I stayed true to my word.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, did you put a year on it? Because it could be next season if you didn't.
I didn't, so I'm leaving it open.
All right, that's fair.
Open to interpretation.
That's fair. That's fair. My 7th is Russell Wilson will be a starting quarterback in 2024, just not in Denver.
Yeah, I think you'll get that one. I don't know where he fits, honestly. Maybe Washington.
Maybe Pittsburgh.
Yeah, that would make sense.
It's just I don't know if some offensive coaches want to retool what they do for Russell Wilson, but if you bring him, you're going to have to.
There are teams that need to retool, like the Pittsburgh Steelers, so it makes sense to do that.
But with
Darrell Bevel to run their offense,
with the amount of money that Russell's going to want, Pittsburgh would have to maybe hold back on signing as many defensive players as they're accustomed to.
Yeah. And honestly, Russell's going to want a lot of money, and he's not going to get what he wants after how the 2 years in Denver went. So,
I mean, there could be a potential that he's nowhere, I guess, week 1, because I don't see him accepting a backup role.
No, absolutely not.
I just don't.
I absolutely think he's good enough to still be a starter in the NFL. I know his time in Seattle ended poorly, but maybe he ends up back there if Pete Carroll retires or something.
Maybe that'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird. I think they should be in the market for a starting quarterback. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. My final one here: the LA Dodgers will win 115 or more games,
Ooh.
but lose in the NLDS
Ooh.
in typical Dodger fashion.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. My last one, I know a lot of these were heavy on my favorite teams, and I promise the next 2 weeks won't. I was trying to keep it very basketball or football centric tonight. The Broncos will draft a quarterback in the first round.
Interesting.
I don't know what else they would do if they don't.
I wonder if they're a potential team to trade up for a Drake May or Caleb Williams.
I don't know if they have enough capital to trade up that far. I mean, they maybe could crack and maybe in the back half of the top 10, but I don't even know. A lot of mock drafts don't have Jaden Daniels slipping out of the top 5. They have 3 quarterbacks going top
That's
5.
crazy. Yeah.
So
There.
then you're looking at number 4. I mean, maybe Bo Nix, maybe Michael Penix, but Penix's injury history scares me. Um, I don't even think those guys are maybe even worthy of a first round pick. I don't know.
You always see teams reach, and there's always guys that have such helium heading up to the draft that they end up going way higher than they probably
Right.
should, like a Kenny Pickett.
Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, picking in that 12 to 16 range is such a terrible spot to pick, especially for a quarterback. I mean, it's very rare that good quarterbacks fall to that range. You usually see them fall maybe to the end of the first round because there's concerns, or they'll be in that top 5. So
Right. I just don't know what else they do. I mean, Jarrett Stidham's going to be on the roster one way or the other because he got him a 2-year, $10 million deal.
you go back up.
And I could see him even being a week 1 starter next year, honestly, if you do draft a rookie. But looking at the veteran options out there in 2024, for one, they're not going to have a lot of money to spend because they're assuming they do cut Russell Wilson. And 2, there's not a lot of options out there that are much better than Jarrett Stidham, really. So
Yeah, I
I
agree
don't
with you.
know. It's weird, man. They're back on the carousel again.
Yeah. I mean, they did the veteran quarterbacks for a few years, Keenum and Flacco, and that went poorly. And then obviously did this huge trade that looked like it was going to work. And then it's probably going to go down as maybe the worst trade and extension, maybe in NFL history.
Or Deshaun Watson.
The Deshaun Watson one's looking bad now, especially
That's
after
fully guaranteed, that one.
yeah,
But,
Flacco deal out there. But yeah.
Yeah. So I got a text from Sean Shriver, loyal viewer to the show. I hope to God Russell doesn't go to Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Hey, they got a little good thing rolling right now with Mason Rudolph. So
We shouldn't even call Sean Shriver a fan anymore. We should call him a contributor,
he pretty
honestly.
is the producer of
Yeah.
the show at this point, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Content creator for us.
But I like your first 8. I'm looking forward to your next list of 8 next week.
I
These are
am
always fun.
absolutely dreading trying to come up with them.
They get tougher and tougher.
Hey, dude, the first 8 are real easy, but after that it gets once you hit about 15, 16, starts
Then you're just reaching. You're doing like what I did last year with Joseph Newgarden will win the Indy 500, and then he does, and I'm like, wow.
which is why I only got 1 of 23 correct last year.
Your goal should be 2 this year.
Yeah,
So
double my output.
yeah. Well, do you want to get educated about sporting events that happened on January 1st? Let's see here. The first Rose Bowl game was played on this day in 1902. It was played between Michigan and Stanford. Michigan beat Stanford 49-0. Fullback Neil Snow was the MVP.
Legendary Neil.
And then the second one wasn't played till 1916, and then the third one 1917, 18, and so forth. That was probably because of the war, I'm guessing. There.
Yeah. Speaking of the Rose Bowl, Michigan is up 13-10 at halftime.
13-10. Yeah, that's right. I saw him botch the extra point. I forgot it was on 14. Wow. Lots of Rose Bowl, Orange Bowl, Sugar Bowl.
It is January.
I mean,
1.
it is. Yeah, that's just like all it is. I'm only in the 40s right now. I'm scrolling, trying to get to at least some that I can make you maybe guess on. On this day, 1961, the first AFL championship game was played as the Houston Oilers beat the Los Angeles Chargers 24-16. George Blanda threw 3 touchdowns, had 3 conversions, and a field goal. On this day, 1961, Briggs Stadium, home of baseball's Detroit Tigers, was officially renamed Tiger Stadium. Holy cow, a lot of bowl games. On this day, 1976, after 45 years of coaching, Paul Brown of the Browns and the Bengals announced his retirement from the National Football League.
There are only 2 head coaches in Cleveland Browns history to have 11 wins in multiple seasons: Paul Brown and Kevin Stefanski.
Pretty good list for Stefanski to be a part of.
Pretty terrible history there for the Cleveland Browns, though.
That is true. All right. Well, it's all bowl games. So let's get into like the modern day and see if I can make you guess something here. All right. On this day in 2008, who played in the Sugar Bowl?
2008. Is that one of those years that Notre Dame got whooped by LSU?
It actually was not.
Oh, God, I don't know.
Number 5, Georgia beat number 10, Hawaii, 41-10.
Brennan. Yeah.
Yeah. Also on this day in 2008, who played in the Rose Bowl?
Rose Bowl 2000. I think that was Illinois USC, wasn't it?
US number 6 USC beat number 13 Illinois 49-17.
Yeah. There was only one player on that field who deserved to be on the same field as USC, and that was Rashard Mendenhall, who tried to create a race war on Twitter here the past week or so.
On this day, 2001, both Notre Dame and Purdue lost their BCS bowl games. Number 4 Washington beat number 14 Purdue 34-24. Number 5 Oregon State beat number 10 Notre Dame 41-9.
Is that the only BCS bowl Purdue went to?
Yes.
Was it?
Yep. Let's see here. Man. On this day in 2015, who played in the 101st Rose Bowl? It was National Championship Playoff Semifinal.
2015.
Mm-hmm.
Was that Oregon and Alabama?
Number 2 Oregon beat number 3 Florida State 59-20.
I remember it was a woman.
And also on this day in the other National Championship Playoff Semifinal game, who played in the 81st Sugar Bowl?
I have no idea.
Number 4 Ohio State beat number 1 Alabama 42-35.
Was that the Cardale Jones?
Yes, it was. On this day in 2019, who played in the 105th Rose Bowl?
2019. Was that the Penn State Utah?
Good guess. It was number 5 Ohio State beating number 9 Washington 28-23.
No,
MVPs was Dwayne Haskins and Brendan White. Who played on this day in 2021? So just 2 years ago. Who played in the 107th Rose Bowl?
21.
It was part of the playoff.
It was part of the playoff. Okay. Ohio State.
Number 1 Alabama beat number 4 Notre Dame 31-14.
Couldn't have told you Notre Dame was in the playoff 2 years ago. That's how much I've followed it.
Yeah. So, and on this day last year, Chicago Bulls forward DeMar DeRozan became the first player in NBA history to hit buzzer beaters on consecutive days. He hit 3-pointers to beat the Wizards and the previous night to beat the Pacers.
Well, I remember the Pacers won. I'm going to a Bulls game. February 3rd against the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, Kings are good, man.
Yeah, first Bulls game I've been to since 2010.
Wow. Cool.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, my mother-in-law got me tickets.
Very cool. And at least you get to see a good team play against the Bulls.
Yeah, I'm the one that picked the game out because a lot of them were like Bulls and Pistons. Bulls.
Oh, boy. Yeah, that would have been. Ugh. Yeah. Yeah, so, NBA, you either want to see a good team or a team that has a superstar player.
Yeah.
But that is the first on this day of 2024, which we are proud and excited to announce that it will be brought to you by, like it was last year, Mooney Woodcrafts. Mooney Woodcrafts is a veteran-owned and operated woodcraft shop based out of Texas with Indiana grassroots. They provide 100% hand-cut custom designs that fit your needs, and their pieces are a great addition to any home, office, or man cave. You can see some of their recently completed projects by visiting them on Instagram and on Facebook at Mooney Woodcrafts. And if you let them know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you, you get 15% off your order. I was actually texting with Thad today, and it sounds like he's going to be hitting the social media pretty hard, getting a lot of his recently completed projects up there so everybody can see it, because he's been working hard again. So check out his work. He does great work, and get your order in. Let him know the Tan and J-Man Show sent you and save a little money. All right, Jay, man. I think we should talk some college hoops.
Do it.
I feel like every week we try to reserve the end to college hoops, and we don't manage the time well. We run out of time. So, I mean,
yeah. Big Ten play starting up re-up this week, restarting this week tomorrow with some games. But the biggest news Thursday, it broke that Terrence Shannon Jr., Illinois' best player, and arguably the second best player in the country. I don't know how you feel about that.
I think he was definitely a midseason All-American, so he's definitely one of the five.
Yeah. Charged with rape out in Kansas. It happened in September, for those who did not know. But so he is suspended indefinitely. Some details have come out. Don't really know. Don't want to speculate on what's going to happen to him. Or say it was not as serious as it sounds, because it's pretty serious. But could be coming back sometime within the next few weeks, or he could be suspended forever. You don't really know what's going on, but feel terrible for the victim, obviously. And if this is true, Shannon obviously screwed up his life and shouldn't be part of college basketball at all. And I'll have a hard time if an NBA team even picks him up at this point. But he was trending towards being a lottery pick. So should this all be true, he really screwed himself up, screwed up his life, which he has no one to blame but himself. But
and I haven't read the details or anything, because when it comes to this stuff, I just don't like reading it. I find it very, very disturbing and hard to talk about, to be honest. But Illinois knew about this though, right? For a little while.
Yes. So the school's known about it since end of September. They didn't have an actionable, forget the term they used, actionable thing to suspend him until the warrant came out. And what he's accused of doing, they did not know that would be classified as rape,
Gotcha.
Which it is out in Kansas, and it probably is not in the state of Illinois. So they obviously suspended him right when more details came out, because they did not know any details really at all until last Wednesday. And it honestly sounded like they knew he was being investigated for something. And the thing that Illinois does that's very smart is they keep the coach completely out of it. Not completely out of it. He knows what's going on, but they completely separate him so he can just worry about the team, not conduct his own investigations, because sometimes coaches want to do that. Yeah, so that happened. And as far as basketball goes, obviously hurts. Top five player in the country. The biggest menace in transition out of anyone in the country. His speed defensively, he's one of the better defenders in the country. He's shooting the ball better than he ever has. Great leader, all of that. So basketball-wise, that absolutely kills you. Still think they're a pretty solid team. Should be a tourney team regardless. And I still think they're probably one of the 4 or 5 best teams in the conference. They just don't have that go-to guy. Now that they played a bad FDU team, but I was pretty encouraged by the way offensively they moved the ball, and arguably they moved it better. They had more assists than they have in any game this year. Marcus Domas got a double-double, 11 points, 11 assists. Quincy Guerre, who's been fantastic the past couple weeks, had a double-double. And then Ty Rogers had his first career double-double. So feel pretty good about them going forward, and they should be good enough to get that double bye. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if they kind of scrape and try to get into the NCAA tournament and they're on that bubble. But as of right now, they're the number 9 team in the country. It'll be a top 10 matchup on Friday night at Mackey Arena. But I am no longer looking forward to that game like I was, which I'm never looking forward to a game at Mackey Arena. But I felt like this Illinois version of the Illinois team could potentially knock them off, but not anymore.
I will be making my Mackey Arena debut Friday
Yeah.
night, so I am looking forward to that. But Purdue's got a road test before that. They traveled to College Park to play Maryland, and Maryland absolutely shellacked Purdue there last year. I know there's gonna be no students there, but life on the road, especially in the Big Ten, is hard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I expect a war tomorrow night. Um,
Especially a Maryland team who has not played well.
right?
A team that was projected to finish, I think they're preseason ranked third in the Big Ten.
Mhm.
And they have struggled against about everyone. They did win on the road against a bad UCLA team, but still, they say that building does get rocking, especially when good teams. I mean, number one team in the country and Purdue's coming there, but they say it's just as difficult to play when there's no one there. So
Yeah.
who knows how the crowd's going to be?
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock tip. I don't know if that's going to affect anything or not. Because I know sometimes in DC, it's hard for people to get to those earlier tips than later tips. But got to get through that. I mean, they took care of business their last two non-con games, last 2 weeks against Eastern Kentucky and Jacksonville. There was times they looked sloppy in those, but in the end, they took care of business pretty easily. So they went undefeated in their non-conference schedule for the third straight year. First time a Big Ten team's ever done that, and pretty crazy with the gauntlet they've had over the last 3 years, especially this year, to get through. But besides overtime loss against Northwestern, I really have nothing to complain about at this point.
No,
So just
absolutely not.
keep the train rolling, and other teams in the Big Ten. I mean, looking at the schedule this week, I know Indiana travels to Lincoln on Wednesday nights, 9 o'clocker to play Nebraska. That won't be easy. Nebraska's a tough place to play. And they're arguably maybe a top five team in the Big Ten right now. But other games tomorrow night, Illinois is hosting Northwestern. Illinois is a 5.5-point favorite. I see. Purdue's a 7.5-point favorite at Maryland, and I was at Wisconsin, and Wisconsin 7.5-point favorite. So you got the three best teams, in my opinion. I mean, they're the three ranked teams. You got three best teams in action tomorrow night.
And I think I'm going to take all three of those teams too. I think Purdue wins fairly handily. Wisconsin beats a mediocre Iowa team, and I think Illinois, even without Shannon, it will be more difficult. Obviously, it's going to be more difficult. That's the most obvious statement ever, especially a guy trying to guard Boo Buie. But supporting cast, Illinois is quite a bit better. So I think Illinois takes care of business there.
Then Wednesday night, I said Indiana's at Nebraska. We also have Rutgers at Ohio State. The Rutgers team that escaped having the worst loss of any Big Ten team this year.
Yeah. A 2-11 team. I don't even remember who they were.
And they're missing three guys. That team they were playing. I mean,
that is absolutely pathetic.
They hit a three with 12 seconds left, or they're not winning that game.
Man, that is embarrassing. That team just can't score. So give me Ohio State in that one. I'm taking Nebraska against Indiana.
I am too.
In Indiana, I mean, they have wins at Michigan, which I know Michigan's bad, but on the road in the Big Ten, it's tough. And they have a home win against a bad Maryland team. And man, they have skirted by the skin of their teeth against some of these bad low major
buy games, as Rothling calls them.
A few buy games, yeah. But if you want to be a bubble team, you can't lose those, and they didn't lose them. So I know their net rating is pretty bad, where they're not even close to an NCAA tournament team right now. But if they were to win in Nebraska, they'll be climbing up that list a little bit. So a big game for Indiana, but definitely a big game for Nebraska if they want to be one of the better teams in the Big Ten.
And I wonder when Xavier Johnson comes back for the Hoosiers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now, back-to-back years he's been injured. So
yeah, I think this is 7 games in a row this year. So, yeah. Thursday night, Penn State at Michigan State. I think Michigan State takes care of business there.
Pretty easily, yeah. I know they've struggled. They even struggled against Indiana State. Indiana State's best player didn't even play for like a 12-minute stretch in the second half, and they were in a dogfight. But they found a way to win.
Yeah, Indiana State's pretty solid.
They're good. Yeah, 11-2.
And Minnesota at Michigan Thursday night. I like Michigan in that one.
I do too. Same thing can be said for Minnesota as we said for Nebraska or Indiana if they want to be thought of as maybe a potential NIT team or even tourney team if they can win some games. Minnesota needs to get this one done, but I just don't see it happen.
Friday night, the lone game, 8:30, Fox Sports 1. We've already talked about top 10 matchup. Number 9, Illinois at number 1, Purdue.
Yeah, last year, great game. Illinois came back from, I think, 17 down or so at half. Took the lead with about 3 minutes left, and Purdue found a way to win single digits against a Illinois team that really struggled towards the end of the year. Better Illinois team this year, and I even think without Shannon, they're better than they were last year. However, with Shannon, I think this would have been a dogfight, and it would have been decided by 10 points or less. Now, I just have a real hard time Illinois is going to keep it within 15 or 20. I think it'll be kind of a rout.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I mean, it was in Champaign, which it will be later on in March. I would feel different, but being at Mackey, I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah. The
And
get-in price
shooting
for that game.
shooting the ball well so far. So.
Yeah, the get-in price for that game is $155 at this point. So
I'm glad I grabbed tickets in October when I did, because being a non-student game, they were a lot cheaper than most of the other games. So
yeah,
glad I did that. Saturday, Rutgers at Iowa.
The get-in price for this one is $9, so that kind of shows you the difference. Give me Iowa though, mainly because they're the home team.
Nebraska at Wisconsin. That'll be an interesting one.
Give me Wisconsin. I think they're pretty solid.
Yep. And Ohio State at Indiana Saturday.
Indiana's got to take care of their home games, and I think they do in this one. I think they split this week.
Have we picked a road team yet? Oh, Purdue, I guess, at Maryland.
Purdue. I think that's it, though.
Sunday, Michigan at Penn State.
Oh, man, I think I got to take the home team again. Give me Penn State.
I'll take Michigan. I'll differ it up there. Maryland at Minnesota.
That's a tough one. Give me Maryland. I'm taking the road team in that one.
I'll take Minnesota. And Michigan State at Northwestern. That's another tough one.
Yeah, give me Northwestern.
I'll take the Wildcats as well. So let's see if there's any top 20 really high ranked top 25 matchups this week. I'm sure there is. I'm going to say that now. No. Number 5, Connecticut's at Butler Friday night. I know Butler's not ranked,
yep. But Butler, man, they choked hard against Providence last weekend. Up late, up 3 late. You always foul up 3. They didn't foul up 3. A guy drills 3 at the buzzer to tie it, and then Providence goes on I don't know. They won by like 10 in overtime. So Butler team's a lot better than they've been the past couple of years, but I think UConn takes care of business. Although they are without their best, maybe not best player, but one of their more important players, maybe their most important player.
Best scorer, I would say.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think UConn gets it done, but Hinkle Magic's a real thing. So,
yeah.
There's a ranked top 25 matchup on Saturday. Number 9, North Carolina travels to number 18, Clemson.
Man, North Carolina, yeah, as you said, is ranked top 10. Clemson's kind of been one of the more surprises in the ACC. Give me Clemson.
I'll take Carolina. I'll differ from you. I couldn't tell you anything about either of them. Got Providence at Creighton, which my phone hasn't updated with the latest ranking, so I don't know if Creighton's still ranked or not, but it's 25 against 22 according to my phone.
I mean, it was a tough road loss for them at Marquette. They lost by 4. But give me Creighton. Give me Creighton in that one.
I will take Creighton as well. Got number 24, Ole Miss, Chris Beard, man.
He's a good coach.
And number 6, Tennessee.
Give me Tennessee.
I will take the Vols as well.
Yeah, Final Four good.
And I know Notre Dame's not good, but they had a big win over Virginia.
I'm out on Virginia.
Any way they upset number 16 Duke at home on Saturday?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, this Virginia team is supposed to be pretty good, and they were ranked a couple times, but that is an absolutely atrocious loss for them.
Yeah, didn't just get beat; they just got slaughtered.
Yeah,
did not see that coming. So college hoops, like I said, conference play starts this week. It's here, and we're gonna get in the big run till March. So,
speaking of college sports, do you want to talk some college football playoff here real quick?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bowl games are meaningless anymore, and it's kind of disappointing because I used to love sitting down.
Me too, man.
And now you just don't know who's starting or who's even playing at all. So
I don't blame the players that are sitting out for NFL considerations. Mm-hmm. This is when I wish they could change the transfer portal up a little bit or something, or the timeline, and maybe kids would still play in the bowls. Or I saw Danny Cannell offered a suggestion: play bowls at start of season, the following season.
Yeah.
Unless they're meaningful, why wouldn't kids still sit out of those? So unless they count towards your season somehow, I don't know how that would work, but it's an interesting proposition.
Well, I mean, how many players from the previous team that makes the bowl wouldn't even be on the team anyway.
That's true. That's true.
So,
So I don't know.
yeah.
I don't think there is an answer. They have
Yeah.
way too many bowls, but they're not going to cut back because it's just money in the
Yep.
pockets for everybody. And I mean, I probably watched more bowl games today than I
Oh,
had
same.
the whole rest of the season. I
Yeah.
watched a good majority of the Wisconsin LSU game. Watched a little bit of the Oregon Liberty game. Maybe I put a parlay out there. Maybe that's why I was watching today because I was bored. But yeah, I used to watch all the bowl games. I mean, we even in the past had a bowl contest for the Tan J Man show, and I thought about doing it this year. Then I thought too hard to predict when guys are pulled
Yeah.
out of bowl games 2 weeks prior, even a week prior to the bowl, and just not what they once were. And I don't. It's like the whole college football system right now. It just seems broken, and a lot of things need fixed.
Yeah. And Chip Kelly made a good point. There needs to be a college football commissioner because it's so
Yep.
much different than any other sport in college
Yep.
athletics. There needs to be a commissioner just over college football, so it's not like the Wild West.
Right. Right. So something's got to change. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take to get that change.
College football playoff, though, Alabama and Michigan still 13-10, 10 minutes left in the third quarter, it looks like.
I still think Alabama wins that game.
I'm going to take Michigan. I think Harbaugh's NFL aspirations dredge on for another week.
I think whoever wins this game wins the national championship.
I agree. Texas and Washington. Texas is favored, which kind of surprised me.
I like Texas to win the game, actually.
Give me Washington. I'm on the Michael Penix bandwagon, mainly because it's funny to see former Indiana players doing well.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if Alabama and Texas were to win, it would get a rematch from game earlier this year. And if Michigan and Washington won, you get it wouldn't be in the Rose Bowl, but you get a classic for the last time ever, Big Ten versus Pac-12 matchup.
Yeah, and then two former powerhouses, Michigan and Texas, going up against each other as well. So that'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, the crazy thing is, I think this is the worst Alabama team we've had in probably 15 years too. Maybe not 15 years, but
it would irk me if they go on to win the national title because I think Georgia's the best team in the country still.
Yeah, I agree, and
that's why I'm excited for the 12. Well, they did prove it, but Florida State was playing their fifth-string quarterback. They had 9 defense starters not playing, so. I hate the argument of people, well, see, Florida State didn't deserve to be in. Well, they weren't one of the best 4 teams, but that wasn't the whole argument I was putting out there. The argument I was putting out there was they did everything that was put in front of them, and then they got penalized for it.
Yep, so, that was wrong. And, of course, they had, on the third-string quarterback, 9 defensive players opted out, so you can't really take that game as, well, they shouldn't have been in anyway. They owe the committee an apology, which is the dumbest thing ever.
12 teams will be much better. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, but we'll still be arguing about the 12th team to get in. It's never going to be perfect, but it'll be better than the 4-team playoff. And really, the committee's lucky it took 10 years or so for this scenario to finally happen. Yeah. Because it probably should have happened years ago.
Yeah. I have word association here for you. It is college football related. College football playoff related, I should say. It is notable players, or maybe not notable, but some of the highest drafted players to come out of some of these teams that have played in the title game. Starting with the only guy from, I don't even know what years this is, Jeff Hireman.
Ohio State.
Yeah.
Was a Denver Bronco and didn't do a whole lot. He was part of their Super Bowl team, and then I don't remember where he went after that in free agency, and he's not in the NFL anymore. I can tell you that much. Yeah. So,
Marcus Mariota,
great college quarterback, Heisman Trophy winner. High draft pick by the Titans, then floated around to the Raiders, then the Falcons. Now he's on the Eagles.
Yep.
I believe his backup. He's going to be a journeyman backup, but a great college quarterback, fun to watch.
Kenyon Drake.
Yes, good running back. Is he still in the league?
I want to say he's been bouncing up and down from a practice squad this year for somebody, but
yeah, good running back. Was never came off to me as that he was going to be the number 1 running back for an NFL team, but he's always a good change of pace guy.
Yeah.
Things like that. Yeah, good player though.
Mike Williams
can't stay healthy for the Chargers. I can tell you that much. Yeah. But good player when he is healthy. Maybe the name Mike Williams just cursed as a wide receiver. Because you remember the Mike Williams from USC years ago.
Taking
and
about the same spot in the first round too.
tried to jump pro a year early, didn't, sat out, still got taken high. But no, when the Chargers, as much as I can't stand them, they get hurt more than any other team every year.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, yeah, good back. Another one that's hopped around the teams a little bit. Another guy who's not a number one back, but another. I mean, anymore, if you're an NFL team and you don't have any other running backs to go with your number one back, you're not going to win many games. It's a stable by committee. You need 2 running backs, if not 3 running backs. But yeah, good player.
Roquan Smith.
Roquan, yeah, stud for Georgia. Stud for the Bears, then traded to the Ravens. Done pretty good there.
Oh, he's been a stud. He made a sick one-handed interception yesterday.
Did he? I did not see that. But yeah, I mean, remember Bears fans being ticked off when they traded him, but at the time they kind of had to because he wasn't going to sign back with them.
Quinnen Williams.
Quinnen Williams. Why is I'm just blanking on that.
Top 5 pick, New York Jets, defensive tackle.
Oh, okay. Well, plays for the Jets.
Good. Yeah.
That's probably why I'm blanking on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jets have a good defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I couldn't name you 3 Jets defensive players right now.
Christian Wilkins.
Man, I am struggling.
Not blank on him, man. I will be so upset if you blank on Christian Wilkins.
No, I'm struggling when these guys played at college ball in my head.
Clemson.
Clemson, okay. All right. He was part of Dabo's. Is that where the previous guy played too? Okay, because
Quinn Williams was Alabama.
Okay, all right. Well, Dabo for years produced like all of his linemen would get drafted in the first round.
Yeah, so that one especially had I think 4 first-round picks on it, including Wilkins, and Wilkins has turned into arguably the best defensive tackle in the AFC.
Yes, I know Ridley's a wide receiver for the Falcons, Dad. I knew that after I was talking, but I was trying to play it off like
I was honestly wondering what you were talking about. I'm not gonna correct him.
I'm struggling. It's amazing to me. I call myself a big college football fan, and you throw these guys out there, and I forget what they even played college because it's Alabama, Clemson, Georgia. Throw in a random 4th team, maybe Ohio State.
LSU here, Justin Jefferson.
Well, one of the best wide receivers in college football at the time, and then in the pros with the Vikings. Guy makes stupid catches every week of balls that shouldn't be caught. Yeah. LSU's a NFL wide receiver producing factory anymore.
T. Higgins.
Cincinnati Bengal. Another one. What did he get drafted the same year?
No, I think it was the year after.
Okay.
Maybe it was the same year.
Okay. But he's T. Higgins is Boyd's the number 1 guy for the Bengals, but Higgins is pretty good too. I mean, that catch and play he made against the Steelers was just incredible.
Najee Harris.
Bust for my fantasy team this year.
I think he's one of the worst running backs in the NFL.
Was a stud out of Alabama. I thought he was a perfect fit for the Steelers and hasn't been all that great.
Pete Werner. I thought you'd struggle with this guy, but I didn't know. He was an Ohio State guy out of Indiana, though. That's why I put him on there.
Okay. The linebacker.
Committed to Notre Dame, decommitted, went to Ohio State. Now he's a pretty good linebacker.
Linebacker. Yep. I remember him now. So,
last one here, George Pickens.
Where did he play? College? Georgia. Okay. So, yeah. Well, Georgia. I'd be interested to know how many pros they produced last 3 years.
An absurd amount.
Yeah, absurd amount. But he's been a good pro. He was good at Georgia. So, good pick.
Yeah.
Picking Pickens there. So, I need to study up. That was a weak performance on my part of the word association to start this year. So,
guess what I forgot to do this week? I forgot to do my pick'em points for the NFL. I'm just looking at them like, what happened?
Awesome.
I already won the season. I'll get them to you.
You can at least pick the team tonight.
Yeah, I'll pick. I cannot believe I did that, but
That's all right. The word association segment is brought to you by, like it was every week in 2023, Performer Print 2 Promo Group. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picket, or sales meeting in 2024, Performer Print 2 Promo Group has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one source print and promotional company today by giving Barbara Van Weinsberg a call at 574 210 3815.
3 winners, 3 losers. I don't know who starts. I think I start with winners, maybe, or maybe I start with
Sure.
losers.
Go for it.
Winners, LA Rams. They are in the playoffs. They got lucky against the Giants. That Mason Crosby's very old leg.
Yeah, he wasn't getting it there.
Yeah, he wasn't getting it there. But and because Seattle lost, the Rams are in the playoffs after I declared them done because they were bad early in the year.
They were. They make a lot out of a little on offense.
Yeah, they do.
Matthew Stafford's good at making his wide receivers better. Let's see here. Number one winner, I got to go with the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, man.
They flexed their muscles yesterday and just put on a show. I'm not putting anything out there, even though I do think they're the best team in the NFL, because every time I start thinking that, somebody falls. But they look to be the one seed in the AFC. They're going to be a tough out.
Yeah, Lamar has 2 5-touchdown games in his career and 2 perfect passer rating games in his career, and both have come against the Dolphins, which is why I texted our group. He's the scariest quarterback in the NFL to play. So he's a Dolphin killer, and he's from Miami too. So my second winner, the Chicago Bears. They've looked really good down the stretch. Justin Fields looked good, and they clinched the number 1 overall pick because that terrible trade Carolina Panthers made. So Bears are a winner. Faux show.
Yeah, that's a good one. My number 2, helped by the officials, Dallas Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
They're unbeatable so far at home. Things are lining up for them to make a run at that Super Bowl, something we haven't said since the mid-90s.
Yeah. My last winner, Green Bay Packers went on the road, beat the Minnesota Vikings. They're right there. They could get in. And Jordan Love had the best season a quarterback, not the best season, the Packers quarterback, but his numbers would be the best quarterback season a Chicago Bears quarterback has ever had. So
it's insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
There's 2 teams I could go for my last winner. But I'm going to go with the team that won Thursday night over the Jets, the Cleveland Browns, for clinching a playoff spot. They come out every week with more guys injured than they went in to the week with. Kevin Stefanski should win Coach of the Year. Joe Flacco's been unbelievable coming off the couch, and kudos to them. I don't know if they're going to do damage in the playoffs or not, but kudos for them for making the playoffs.
Yeah.
My number 1 loser. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yep.
You got a home game. You take care of business here. You're going to win the South. You're going to be in the playoffs, or most likely win the South. You lay an egg. You were lucky to only lose 23-13. You got way behind against the Saints, and probably going to be sitting at home now this year.
My first loser, Miami Dolphins, and it's not because they lost. I don't even care how they lost. Bradley Chubb out there, 30-point game. 3 minutes left, and he tears his ACL for the second time in his career. So now you're without your top 2 pass rushers, arguably 2 of the better pass rushers in the NFL, Jalen Phillips, who also got hurt in garbage time against the New York Jets, and now Bradley Chubb. So Andrew Van Ginkel and Emmanuel Ogbah have to step up. I will say the Dolphins' depth there is probably better than any team in the NFL because both those guys are pretty dang good. But bad stuff. Don't think they're going to have Xavier Howard this week. Not sure on Waddle, or Jerome Baker. So, and three-fifths of their offensive line's hurt. So, fun stuff.
My number 2 loser, Philadelphia Eagles. You lost a home game to the Cardinals. Even though the Cardinals are playing better. Yeah, you've lost 3 of your last 4, if not 4 of your last 5. Definitely have issues. You're not winning your division now, probably. That's going to be the Cowboys. Yeah, man. Arizona teams like going into Philadelphia and coming out with big wins. The Diamondbacks did against the Phillies, and now the Cardinals did against the Eagles.
The NFL officials, that was a sham on Saturday night. And how many times have I said, and that's probably going to be one of my bold predictions next week, that they need to hire full-time officials. They have full-time officials in the NBA, full-time umpires and officials in Major League Baseball. They do not in the NFL, and the NFL revenue is so much higher than both. That they absolutely can afford it. And it's starting to show because officiating has been putrid this year.
Awful. Just awful. My last loser, Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
losing 26-0 to CJ Beathard and the Jaguars, and your owner is on video
He's
with
a
what looks
joke.
like throwing a drink on a fan.
Yeah, he
So
is an absolute
there's
joke.
no root. I mean, they are just a laughing stock and
Yeah.
embarrassment from top to bottom.
My final loser is the Seattle Seahawks. You can't lose a home game to Mason Rudolph. You just can't do it. But
Yep. All right. Well, let's get into the last week of Pick'em for the year. Hold up here. We got 2 Saturday night games this week, starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Baltimore Ravens.
don't know. Ravens don't have anything to play for, so I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I think they get into the playoff. Well, it all depends on if the Dolphins beat the Bills.
I'm taking the Steelers as well, just for those reasons. I think maybe the Ravens play guys a little bit, so they don't have to sit for 2 straight weeks,
Mhm.
but they probably don't play them too much. So I'm taking Steelers about for 4 points. Yeah, big one, AFC South. It could be a win and you get in scenario depending on what happens. Houston Texans at Indianapolis Colts.
Good game. CJ Stroud back. I think the Texans are a little better. Give me the Houston Texans.
I'm taking the Colts for 9.
Mm.
I was kind of picking games. The 9th just kind of slot fell there, and I kind of had to stick with it. But Colts find ways to win, and more times than not, it's at home.
Yeah.
Battle for Ohio, Cleveland Browns at Cincinnati Bengals.
Browns don't have anything to play for. They're locked into the 5th seed, so give me the Bengals.
I'm taking the Browns for 7. I know they don't have much to play for, but I still think they play their guys majority of the time, especially a team that's not familiar with postseason play too often. Bengals are probably crushed. Gave the Chiefs a fight, but couldn't get it done. So give me the Browns for 7. Minnesota Vikings at Detroit Lions.
Give me the Lions. I think, Vikings quarterback situation is bad.
Yeah, it's very bad. Give me the Lions for 15. I'm pretty confident in that one. Jacksonville Jaguars at Tennessee Titans.
Jacksonville needs it, or they might miss the playoffs. And I think they get it done, assuming Lawrence is back.
Yeah, I'm taking Jaguars for 8, and they come out win the AFC South. But a lot closer than probably should have been this year. New York Jets at New England Patriots.
2 terrible teams. Give me the Patriots just because it's at home.
Yep, I'm taking Patriots for 6. They got 2 good defenses, but I think Patriots defense is even better than the Jets. So, Atlanta Falcons at New Orleans Saints.
Give me the Saints. I don't know if that puts the Saints in the playoffs.
I think it does. I think it does.
I'll be going for the Falcons because I don't think Derek Carr deserves to play in the playoffs.
I'm taking the Saints for 5 at home. They're still pretty good at home. So they're going to be the strongest of the weakest division in the league.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers at Carolina Panthers.
Give me the Bucks.
I'm taking the Bucks for 14. No, like I said, Panthers
are trash.
Chicago Bears at Green Bay Packers.
Give me the Packers. Until the Bears do it, I'm not going to pick them.
That's exactly why I took the Packers for 12.
Yeah.
So, Denver Broncos at Las Vegas Raiders.
Give me the Raiders. Both teams were eliminated. I think just because it's in Vegas and Denver doesn't win there very often.
Denver hasn't beat Vegas has a 7-game win streak over Denver.
That's bad.
Just for that reason, I'm taking the Broncos to snap it and get their first winning season since 2016.
Yeah.
Getting the Broncos, but for 2. For 2. And maybe Stidham goes nuts against his old team. Probably not. Philadelphia Eagles at New York Giants.
Give me the Eagles. They're not going to win the division now, and that's pretty disappointing after the way they started. 10-0, 11-0, something like that.
I'm taking Eagles for 11, but I already hate it. I already hate that I put that many points on it.
They have issues.
Bird game here, Seahawks at Cardinals.
Give me the Cardinals. I think they win back-to-back games.
I'm taking the Cardinals for 1. I mean, Seattle's got to be down the dumps. Cardinals, we're going to try to win another game, get some momentum going into the offseason. Kansas City Chiefs at LA Chargers.
Give me Chiefs.
I don't think the Chiefs have much to play for, but they'll still be better than the injured, riddled Chargers. Chiefs for 13. Rams at 49ers.
Give me the Niners.
Taking Niners for 10. I don't really think either team has much to play for, but give me the Niners. Last 2 games here, Dallas Cowboys at Washington Commanders. Cowboys for 16 for me. And Buffalo Bills at Miami Dolphins. It will be a big one no matter what, but could be an absolutely huge one for the Bills. For the Bills, if things fall over.
Winner wins the AFC East. Dolphins need to win. They're really good at home, and if they don't win, they will go to Kansas City in round one. So that's not ideal. But this will be the J-Man's Book of Bridge of the Week. I'm not just saying this as reverse psychology. Josh Allen turns the ball over a bunch against everyone else. He is the greatest player in NFL history against the Miami Dolphins. And especially without Xavier Howard and without their two top pass rushers, I just don't think Dolphins will be able to get it done. So give me the Buffalo Bills in that one. J-Man's Book was brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Travis Watching for Life Home Auto Business Renters Workers Comp and Farm Insurance. Contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watching@infb.com.
And I am taking the Bills as well, but for 3. I think it's going to be a good game. But Bills are kind of starting to roll right now.
I hate it.
And the Dolphins are just starting to get injuries piling up, and at the worst time. So
the cursed, I tell you.
But back to the birdie or bogey question. Let me pull it up here again. There's been 5 head coaches in NCAA football history who have coached a team to 14 or more bowl wins. Can you name those 5? Yeah, wins, bowl wins.
Oh man, Nick Saban.
Nick Saban is one of the 5.
Joe Paterno.
Joe Paterno is one of the 5.
Wins. The wins are throwing me off. Wins. Dabo?
No, not Dabo's fine.
2 shots to get a par. Man. Ferentz? I don't think he's won 14.
No.
He's coaching a bunch. I have no idea. I'm embarrassed.
Don't be embarrassed. It is Bobby Bowden.
No, man.
Bear Bryant.
Oh.
And Mac Brown.
No, I would not have gotten Mac Brown. I should have gotten Bobby Bowden. Bear Bryant wouldn't even been on my radar. Thanks for watching the TNN J-Man Show in 2024. Have a fantastic week, everybody, and we'll be back at her next Monday.